Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Given that marijuana is still an illegal substance in St. Lucia, the underground world of illicit drugs continues to be linked to many crimes. So where is the government on the proposed decriminalization and legalization of marijuana? The question was posed to the minister leading the charge on cannabis reform, Bradley Felix. Felix says there is a process. However, he believes with the decriminalization of cannabis, many of the crimes that are suspected to be connected to weed will be stopped.
Following the discovery of the decomposing body of an unidentified individual near a suspected marijuana farm in a forested area in Carababuno, speculation has been rife in the public domain that the individual may have been involved in the planting and cultivating of the still illegal substance. Although a framework has been set to commission the decriminalization of cannabis in St. Lucia, there has been no recent update on where the process is at. Minister for Commerce Bradley Felix argues there is a link between crime and the illegality of the herb.
When the guys have taken certain risks because of the illegality of the cannabis, there will be a lot more aggression in protecting their farms and their crops. So I do believe, when we have a system where there's some regulation, we may not see such kind of aggression.
It is understandable why many would defend the supply of cannabis, given the market value, even though it is illegal. Felix, however, said members of the public need to exude some more patience, as the decriminalization of the plant has to go through various processes.
But I just need to remind anybody who's out there that the cannabis is still illegal, and we have to wait for the due process. Well, it's still with the AG chambers. I guess there's a process to go through. I cannot rush the process. But that's where we are.
Felix says once a regulatory framework is set for the cultivating and consuming of cannabis, many of the issues relating to crimes directly related to cannabis production will significantly decrease. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
St. Lucia's former High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, says he is convinced that the acting Controller of Customs, Peter Chico, is a planted agent strategically hired by the UWP administration to target him. He says this is just one indication of the nasty times ahead in the run-up to the next general election. More in this report from Rochelle Gonzalez.
Former St. Lucia High Commissioner in London, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, is convinced that St. Lucia is being ruled under a dictatorship and that he is one of their biggest targets. Speaking on the ongoing saga concerning his imported vehicle, which has since been recalled by the Customs Department, Dr. Hilaire says Comptroller of Customs Peter Chico is being given direct orders from the Prime Minister Alan Chastanet to come after him in a desperate attempt to defame his character.
What's happening now is an act of dictatorship, really, that there is the political directorate that is giving instructions to law enforcement agencies. The acting controller himself in a report said the Prime Minister called a meeting to express his concern about the lack of action in regard to my vehicle and for action to be taken. Now, there's absolutely no way the political directorate should be giving instructions to law enforcement agencies. I mean, when you hear those things happen in Africa, we say there is dictatorship. There are military dictatorships, there are police states, whatnot. The political directorate has no business giving instructions to law enforcement, and this is what's happening in this country. A permanent secretary, acting permanent secretary, is transferred because she agreed to act to pay outstanding VAT on the vehicle that the ministry has to pay. An acting controller of customs, too, transferred because they refused to act on the instructions given. I mean, this is what's happening in this country.
Going into more specifics, Dr. Hilaire states that he categorically believes that the saga with his imported vehicle is the work of a political operative.
I'm clear in my mind, without any doubt, that Chico was appointed to serve the purposes of going and collect my vehicle. It was a political role he had to perform. I'm also convinced that he gave an undertaking to do so and that he was appointed to do so. There is no rationale in what Chico is doing. I mean, there is the last letter I got from Chico. He is saying to me, he has a copy of the supplier's invoice which the Ministry of Foreign Affairs got from Land Rover. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is the one making the entry on my behalf. He has it. But he asked me, give me your own copy. or else I will take the vehicle. Now, I mean, when you read stuff like that, you wonder what's the rationality in what he's doing. There is none in my view. So let him do what he wants, and I'm telling you, I'm anxious to give him the vehicle, because the day after, we will file our charges.
Dr. Hilaire states that the future of politics, namely the run-up to the next general election, looks bleak.
I'm trying my best not to make this about me. This is about the state of our country. And as the election campaign unfolds, it's going to get worse. I said a long time ago that this is going to be the nastiest election campaign. And I mean it. I mean, this is a group of men that are desperate to hold on to power, very desperate to hold on to power. And they will do any and everything they can to stay in power.
Dr. Hilaire says whilst he knows that there are honest public servants, actions like Chico's leaves the integrity of the public service in a questionable light. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Citing instances around the globe where housing and commercial accommodation have been integrated into heritage sites, Minister for Culture Fortuna Belrose says that in order for St. Lucia to progress, people must be open to developments such as what is taking place within the PMA. Shaka Wooding has more.
According to Minister for Culture Fortuna Belrose, one need not look too far to witness a prime example of development and heritage site preservation coexisting in the same place. The minister, who spoke to the presence of a hotel within a heritage compound in the neighboring island of Barbados, says that if done properly, a country can undertake such forms of development while keeping its morality intact. Belrose believes that this form of development, such as the works currently being done within the Petour management area, must be approached with an open mind.
And I think while we have attained the World Heritage status, there are models across the world about integrating, local housing or housing developments within those heritage sites. If you look at the Hilton Hotel where it's located in Barbados, it's within a heritage compound. And so it's about integrating, listening, working with the institutions that are responsible for that aspect of our development and ensuring that it happens. We cannot continue to live in a vacuum like things are not,
She says within the government's plans to connect with the people of St. Lucia, authorities hope to broaden the mindset of St. Lucians in terms of how certain concepts are perceived on a national level. Belrose insists that as a St. Lucian herself, the feeling to safeguard the island's national landmarks and heritage sites are not alien to her. However, she believes that the kind of development taking place could give rise to many opportunities for the island to progress.
Oh, there are so many benefits. As a World Heritage Site, basically what you do, you place your country on the map as a country that believes in greenery, you understand, and natural development. And we've seen that. The Petours have been our landmark for years. As a child growing up, we know that's what we have been, proud of. But anything to enhance and, of course, to further develop our people, with respect to educating them around the value of that and how in modern society, things can work in harmony with each other. I think that's what we should be spelling.
The minister expressed confidence in the crop of local agencies which are tasked to pursue the best interests of the island's preservation and sustainable development path. She is confident that the work of the Development Control Authority, the Ministry of Planning, and the St. Lucia National Trust will ensure that the development does not take place haphazardly. Jacka Wooding, Hot 7 News.
Staying with news from the Culture Minister, she says that unlike other countries in the region, there has yet to be a determination by local authorities regarding St. Lucia Carnival 2021. She says although St. Lucia has been very successful in mitigating the COVID-19 pandemic, there are other key factors that must be considered.
Around the region, countries have begun making pronouncements as to their intentions for Carnival 2021. In Jamaica, authorities have scheduled the activity to take place in April, citing the need for enough time to prepare the island to host a safe and enjoyable version of the event within a COVID-19 environment. Meanwhile, in Trinidad and Tobago, authorities have decided to forgo the event completely. As he made this announcement on September 28th, Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister Keith Rowley called the event the perfect environment to foster a mass spread of the COVID-19 virus. He said that despite the inevitable economic blow, he is not prepared to risk the lives of his people in favor of the event. To date, in St. Lucia, no pronouncements have been made by government regarding the hosting of Carnival in 2021. Minister for Culture Fortuna Belrose says it is simply too soon for such a decision to be made. Belrose says the COVID-19 environment is ever-changing and the global community continues to hope that a vaccine is made available. She stresses that many things could change before July 2021.
We just have to hope and pray that maybe there's a vaccine for it and we can have the freedom. But until such time, we have to work within the protocols that have been established for it. So whether we'll do it next year or not do it next year, at this point in time, it's too early for me to say.
The minister, noting St. Lucia's success in facing the COVID-19 pandemic, believes that local authorities are not faced with similar circumstances as any other island in the region. She says this unique situation will reveal an equally unique approach to Carnival.
This year, we took a decision not to have it with the Carnival fraternity. We'll continue to work with them and consult with them on the issues. St. Lucia has done very well insofar as managing its COVID environment. Unlike Trinidad, as you could see, they're going through the second wave. It's our responsibility as a government to ensure that we remain safe in this society. And as long as we continue to do that, we will work with the issues that confront us.
The island currently has no active COVID-19 cases, and there is no evidence that community spread is taking place, as all previous cases have been imported or sporadic. Belrose says that on this current trajectory, a return to normalcy may be closer than perceived. Jacka Wooding, Hot 7 News.
Stay with us. There's more coming up after the break.